Sell your home, son.
We should go out of time.
Day after it's listed. Get you a loan, son. Whatever bank you visit. Answer your phone, son. This is your board, man.
Hi, welcome to Live with Barb and Ray.
I'm Barb.
And I'm Ray.
Woo, we did it.
I know.
We're good.
But we shouldn't always say we did it and
Yeah.
we're all excited about it.
So we apologize for tuning in a little bit late today. We've had a little bit of technical difficulties, but our amazing, I think we should call him creative director, Jay, got us online. So
And it was just a broken adapter.
it was a broken adapter. So welcome. Thank you for tuning in today. We're going to get right down to business because we have a full list of topics to talk about.
Yes, we do.
So the first one is something that I brought to Ray's attention that I want to talk about. And this is something that, Ray and I kind of got involved in the association about the same time. And you learn a lot as a director. And something that I don't think we talk about enough in our industry, at least not on a local or state level. I think the National Association of Realtors does a good job talking about this with realtors, but it's the federal law regarding antitrust. And we've been in some meetings lately where we hear realtors talk about antitrust and not realize they're violating antitrust. So antitrust essentially is the concept that you can't price fix anything and that there is no standard or average in our industry.
Wait, so when I'm on a listing appointment and somebody asks me what's my commission, I say, well, I charge 5.5, but the average is 6.
Can't say that. That's antitrust. So but listen, how many realtors don't know that?
It's
How many
like
times-
a lot, unfortunately.
It is. How many times have you gone into a listing appointment and your seller has said to you, well, the last person that came in said the average in the industry is X. There is no average, guys. We can't say that there's an average or a standard because all commissions are negotiable. And it's what the seller and the listing agent agree to, or quite frankly, the client and the agent agree to, no matter what the situation is. So NAR has some great talking points on this, and they even say things like you can't say this is the rate every firm charges. You can only talk about the rate that you charge because you are the professional, you're the provider. And I think the other thing that people don't realize is that you have to everything's negotiable, right? And you can't say that there's a set fee or anything standard in the industry. The other thing that antitrust tackles is you can't discriminate against other business models. And how many times do we see that?
Yeah, and I have people knowing how involved I am at the association constantly telling me, why aren't we, as an association, going after certain business models? I don't want to say who they are, but they're
Absolutely
out there right now. And why aren't we doing anything about it? We can't, guys. And we've said this before.
Yes.
We've said it plenty of times, but there's nothing we can do about it. That's their business model, and that's just the environment we're in now.
Yeah, the association cannot refuse access because someone doesn't like their business model. If you hold a California real estate license, you can become a realtor member at any local association, state and national. Period. End of story. We have zero control over someone else's business models. We can control their ethics, which segues in very nicely to our next topic of the day.
So every day when we come to film, we come up in the elevator and we walk around to our room over here, and we have to walk by Lori Smith's office. If you don't know who Lori Smith is, we've talked about her a lot. She is our head of professional standards. And when we walk by her office, she almost flags us, hey, I have a list of things I need you guys to talk about.
She sure does.
We go in there and we say, hey, Lori, what are the big issues you've been hearing? And it's like beating a dead horse, really, but you go into it. Let them know. You want me to?
Let them know. I'm going to let Ray talk about the first one. I'm going to actually talk about the third one that she mentioned because she mentioned a few of them that I'm actually shocked by. Do all our realtor members understand that Article 15 of the Code of Ethics says that you cannot defame or speak mistruths about another realtor? It's against our Code of Ethics. And she said she's having a ton of complaints that realtors are going on other realtors' either social media or Yelp and complaining about that realtor's business practices and how they do business. Guys, you can't do that. That's not okay. First of all, it's unprofessional.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with another realtor, call them or call their broker, which would be an appropriate way to handle if you don't like the way someone's doing business or you think they're not doing business professionally.
Yeah.
You cannot go on social media and on Yelp and say your opinion about another realtor.
Yeah. It's crazy that somebody thinks that's okay.
Well, the other thing that's crazy is I don't think realtors understand, because I see this across the nation. You can't go on Facebook and talk about a difficult agent you're dealing with. And maybe you can ask for advice maybe on how to handle a situation, but you cannot go on social media and start describing a situation
that everyone can figure out.
That everyone can figure out who the realtor is, or that realtor can figure out it's about the transaction they just had with you and what they did, and then they could point it back to you if they can prove that they knew that was about them. Yeah. It's not okay. Be a professional. Handle it offline.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that that's an issue she's having in professional standards.
I know, that one was a little, when she said it's a big deal,
yeah,
I was kind of
the
shocked.
first one she talked about, I'm shocked, is still a problem. I'm angry, it's still a problem.
I want to reach through the camera and shake you guys, like we've said before. Not presenting offers. That's Article
Come on, guys.
1-7.
It's new. It's now, not presenting an offer was always against the code of ethics. Now it's a violation if you don't respond in writing to confirm if an offer was presented.
I look at it from my point of view. If an agent sends me an offer and I don't tell my client, like I would never even fathom not calling my clients right away and saying, hey, we got an offer, this is what it is, when can we meet, whatever it's going to be. But like, how easy is it for that agent to get in trouble? And I've heard stories of it happening, and the buyer knocks on the seller's door and says, hey, it's been 4 days, I haven't heard from my offer. What offer? Like, it's just crazy to me that that's still happening. And so that's a big deal right now. And that's the biggest thing Lori said she's dealing with.
Number one thing.
Complaints about other agents not presenting their offers.
Like, you are a fiduciary, and I don't know if anyone's read the jury instructions, because John Giardinelli shares them with us all the time. It's pretty intense, the damages, and the Department of Real Estate's very interested in this topic. We talked about, I believe last month, about the coming soon signs and the whole making sure your client's seeing all the offers and getting the most exposure to the market. It's your fiduciary responsibility. I think the Department of Real Estate would definitely be interested in if sellers are not seeing their offers and they are having damages, financial damages, because they didn't know about a higher offer.
Yeah.
Quick way to lose your license, guys. So just stop it.
Yep.
The other thing is that CAR has created a working group or a task force to kind of revamp the RPA, I believe, for 2020. I know you all don't want to hear that, but good things. There are some changes that need to be made. It hasn't been done since 2015, and one of them will be some way to formally request the presentation of the offer and things like that. So stay tuned for that in 2020.
And that'll segue right into next week. We will be in Sacramento.
Yes.
And it's Wednesday is Ledge Day.
Yep.
And
Sorry, guys.
So Ledge Day is where we go up and realtors across the state go and we storm the Capitol building and we go in and we talk to all our state officials and we tell them what are the big deals concerning our industry. And so it's really cool to go up and do that.
It is an experience that will change your perception of being a realtor. That I can guarantee. I've never felt more empowered as a professional and cared more about our industry. That's when I caught the bug. So it's too late now to obviously plan a trip to Sacramento next Tuesday, but if you're interested, let us know. We'll put you on the list for 2020 to make sure you know when we're going.
Somebody can still go. If
they could actually, yes, you could totally still show up. You are absolutely correct. But we're going to be talking about some important stuff. There's like, I don't know how many bills regarding housing are currently in our legislature at some point in the process. But two really important ones that we're going to be talking about is we're going to be encouraging our assembly members and our senators to support a first-time homebuyer tax credit, which I think will be amazing for our industry. And again, we're trying to, promote home ownership and people buying housing and getting roofs over their head. And the second one that's actually frightening is we're going to ask them to defend or to defeat mandatory Section 8, meaning every landlord will be required to accept Section 8 in the state of California.
Yeah.
You want to give your thoughts on that?
I look at rental property. I know they tell us not to say it's private property rights, but it is private property rights. If it's my property, I should be able to do what I want, rent to who I want, and not have any kind of state agency or local
government
agency telling me what I have to do with my property. So that's what drives me nuts about everything that they're trying to do in Sacramento is just pounding on us more taxes, more everything. So,
And we're not against every bill. We're not against everything. We're very much in support for anything that supports housing development, fixing our affordability issue in California, or fixing, frankly, our housing supply. I always quote Glenn Hellier, supply is the answer. That is the answer, is more building and more smart building and doing smart development.
Yep.
Something I want to chat about, I'm actually going to skip ahead and go back to one. I don't know how many of our members have heard about the lawsuit filed by a homeowner actually in Tustin against a real estate company in Orange County for mass texting. I don't think realtors understand that texting falls under the do not call telephone laws. I don't know, there's a acronym for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I've also heard from attorneys, it doesn't matter if you got the list from someone or you hired a company to do it. You still are at the, what we call, end user of that. So if you're mass texting, I highly recommend that you consider not mass texting.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. And it leads me to, I want to give it a little tech tip, because I got the most amazing, and from what I understand, I may just be late to the party, but you didn't know about this either.
No.
Quite frankly, sometimes during the day, I don't answer my phone because every other call or every call is spam, robo-dialers, recordings, you name it, selling me technology, selling me to refinance my mortgage, non-stop.
Hi, are you Barbara Betts?
No.
Are you a realtor in Long Beach?
No, I'm not.
Would you like more business?
No.
Hired that guy.
Right? Yes. And so, like I told Ray, I've just stopped answering the calls. And Verizon, and I hear AT&T has it too, if you go into your Verizon account, you can turn on free call filtering. And now you put the app on your phone, but it doesn't change. It just rings through your phone still, and it'll put a banner saying potential spam, and you can just ignore it and let it go to voicemail. Then you can reopen it and block that number forever.
How do you...
And now I actually,
know for sure that it's spam.
Well, after they leave a message, I go view the message to make sure, and it's always call 1-800, and then I know right away, and then I block that number. But what I love is that now, when a 562 number's calling, that could be a regular human being that wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to answer it because I don't think it's going to be a recording. So just a little tech tip.
I want to go back to Sacramento State meetings because we failed to mention that Wednesday is Ledge Day where we go through that, and then we're there Thursday through Saturday for the California Association of Realtors Board of Directors meetings. And we've talked about this. We've broadcast from there live the last couple of years.
I think we will when we're up
and
there.
We're probably going to do it again. And one thing I wanted to bring up to you that's been driving me nuts, we're talking about the revamp of the RPA. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a suggestion, and I bet
Are you on the forums committee?
I'm not.
Oh, you're
I
going
have
to go
been.
attend?
Yeah, I'm going to make a suggestion. The FERPTA drives me nuts.
Okay.
Because of their oxymoron. Are you a non-resident alien? The way it's written, you know how, I'm sure you a million times your clients go, what does this mean? And that just needs to be clarified. Are you a resident of the United States of America? So that's, when you guys see that change on the FERPTA, this guy...
Ray's head's blowing up right now as we speak. Well, for my situation, because at least on my listings, I use a Department of Business Oversight escrow, and they can do the qualified substitution.
Yeah.
So I really don't run into that a ton, but I totally understand. It's a very confusing form, and it could use some revamping.
Yeah.
We just had a Team Leader Summit here yesterday. CAR came down and sponsored a Team Leader Summit, and we had one of the CAR general counsels here, and he warned the team leaders, and we're going to warn you because you've never heard us talk about this before.
Yeah.
I don't think never. We've never said this before. No, we've said this a million times. The DRE is out to look at your advertising. If you're a team, display your broker.
And not
end of
just
story.
a team. Not just a team. I asked this yesterday because I've seen it in Facebook posts. Joe Smith Realtor. Joe Smith is this big, and then company logo down here. No. Can't do it,
guys.
Your brokerage, no matter
who you are,
or single person,
unless you were the brokerage.
Yeah, unless you're the brokerage. Your brokerage needs to be as big, as prominent. And they said they're not coming out and measuring, but if they can't just glance at your sign and see your name and your brokerage, they're going to start fining you.
They are finding.
They are finding people.
This came from an attorney at CAR. Guys, this was not California Association of Realtors. This is Department of Real Estate. This is state law. And I think it's a $2,500 fine.
And do you know why they're doing this? This is all to protect consumers.
Because consumers what I believe the history on it is that consumers were calling and inundating the Department of Real Estate to complain about their realtor, and the Department of Real Estate was turning around and saying, why didn't you call the broker? And they would say, I don't know who the broker is. I thought my realtor was a broker. Just like $1 Million Listing LA, like we talked about earlier, where they're not all real estate brokers, but they claim to be real estate brokers. So be careful. Be careful that you're advertising correctly. We have all the advertising guidelines rewritten by our attorney on the PWR website. You have no excuse to not understand the advertising guidelines, because we've been talking about this since like middle of last year, warning everybody. Is that your big dad smack in the face?
Sure.
Yeah, and we're going to wrap up with, we got a couple of exciting events at PWR. One is free, F-R-E-E, and it even includes
free.
The golf tournament is not free.
The golf tournament's not free, but it's a lot of fun, and the money goes to our PWR Charity Foundation. That is money for veterans to help
first-time home buyers.
And first-time home buyers to help them with their down payment.
Yeah.
So if you're a golfer or you know somebody that's a golfer, sign up. And you can come out and have a good time. It's definitely good networking, and it's a lot of fun.
Ray will be there. I won't be there this year, but my husband will be there.
I am a very good golfer. Just
Oh
to
yeah,
let you know.
Harold and Ray have, they're always way high up in the leaderboard.
I take a box of golf balls.
Could you shake them all?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I don't even look for them. If I hit a ball and it's just like, yeah, we'll just leave that one there.
And what I was talking about free is June 5th. The registration just opened for our Agent Summit, and we have some dynamic, amazing speakers that President Ray has lined up. And again, I said free, and it's free food. We all know realtors come for free food and great speakers.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about June 5th? Because you organized it.
Our last few meetings have been selling out, and if you want to go, not if you want to go, you should go. Everybody that comes has raving things to say about the meetings, and the 3 speakers we have are amazing. And I think the email went out yesterday for registration.
Yeah, it did.
So get it, open it up, and sign up.
Sign up. Yep, we expect to see all of you there. So that's all I got for today. We got to get out here and get to board meetings and get to
Our late
Sacramento.
start kind of threw us off.
Yeah.
So that's it for today, and stay classy out there, PWR.
Day after it's listed, get you a loan, son.